Hi guys, so here's my focus learners with the lesson attached to it. It's a hybrid, so the teacher is fully remote with 15 of the 25 students, while 10 of them rotate between remote learning and in-person learning. So if they go in person, they are in a classroom socially distanced with a para, and they log on to a laptop and take part in their typical daily routine with the teacher, but from a remote setting. So for our lesson, it's a mathematics lesson. It's two-digit subtraction with and without regrouping. The learning target is I can subtract two-digit numbers with and without regrouping. So previously the students learned to subtract without regrouping. So now we're going to be going over that and reintroducing them to it and then adding on regrouping. So we'd start off and I would show the students this. So for the students, they need cameras on, a notebook, and a pencil. For the teacher, PowerPoint, worksheets, and a program called Whiteboard. So Focus Learner 1. Brian is a 7-year-old boy in a second grade ICT classroom who is an English language learner. He loves anything military related as well as trucks and cars. He's very outgoing and makes friends easily, but becomes reserved with schoolwork as he struggles with reading and writing English, which is understandable since he's an ALL student. Often, he will use a translator app to convert his thoughts from Spanish to English. He will often begin to cry when he's confused as he falls behind. This is especially during a literature lesson. In the classroom, when it comes to math, he can keep up as long as the teacher takes the time to write out all the questions, as well as a step-by-step and provide visuals and manipulatives to him. To help him in class, he gets his work differentiated, such as prompts for proficiency levels, extra time on exams, gets paired into groups with students who have various math levels, and we utilize partner talk. Focus Learner 2 is Dante. He has a speech delay called dysarthria. He is in a second grade ICT classroom. He's a quiet student and more reserved, but very friendly once he opens up to you. He's very interested in sports, especially hockey, and he'll just sit there and he'll watch videos and show you what he likes best. But he gets frustrated and often looks for a way out when it comes to reading and writing, and this will cause him to fall behind in the activity. So in the classroom, Dante has a communication book, so he can show us things that he would like, that he would like for us to avoid miscommunication. And he can also write down things he wants to say when it comes to answering questions and taking part in a class discussion. This will help with his frustration levels. And the teacher also uses many visuals in the classroom and writes out all the directions so he can read everything and follow along. So for Danielson and HLP, Danielson is 1D, demonstrating knowledge of resources, and HLP is HLP 13, adapt curriculum tasks and materials for specific learning goals. So the explanation of the lesson activity related to the Danielson domain in HLP. The teacher began the lesson by saying hello to the students to make sure their cameras are turned on so they can be seen. She asked them to each give a thumbs up to make sure that they're paying attention. It's a way to grasp their attention, make sure that they can hear her, she can hear them. Then she told them to have their mathematics book out with a pencil. So before starting the review, before the main lesson, the teacher went over the classroom rules and discussed the main vocabulary for the day. Then review the two-digit subtraction without regrouping as the students learned this last week. She wanted to make sure that the students were well reviewed and activate their prior knowledge before going into the new lesson and material. So once reviewed, she asked a general question, which was, does anyone know what regrouping means? Or do you want to guess what it could mean? This is a way to just get them thinking and to start a discussion so that we can enter into what exactly regrouping is. And it's basically just like a heads up for them. So after listening to students who did volunteer to discuss and share their thoughts, the teacher jumped into the lesson. So when the lesson began, the teacher explained what regrouping is and began showing examples. With the examples, she went number by number and highlighted each number with a different color to show the difference for the students and create a visual. Next, she highlighted the question part of each one so the students knew what they were to solve. So along the way, the teacher used an interactive online whiteboard to show the students step by step what they were supposed to be doing, and this helped tremendously. Especially was helpful for our ELL and speech delayed students as they thrive on visuals. So it just makes their level of understanding easier, and it gives them gives them a bit of confidence that they don't have too much to try to figure out, and they just know where we're standing with the lesson and what to do next. The teacher also provided continuous positive reinforcement and feedback for the students along the way to help keep them engaged and boost their confidence while learning a new subject with new rules and steps. So the teacher also implemented an online game to offer students a fun and interactive segment to the lesson, and this also acted as a way to assess their progress and offer more practice. It provided visuals, audios, positive feedback to the students all in one. And then lastly, the students had a worksheet to complete which offered specific boxes and lines to differentiate the numbers from each other, and a section actually to show the ones and the tens. So this broke down the work for the students and provided a means for them to know what step they're on, what to do next, and it made the problem seem easier because it wasn't so daunting seeing it broken up and parts of it separate from each other. It worked for the students. So the Danielson rubric, it was demonstrated in a few different parts. So with demonstrated knowledge of resources, the teacher used various tools to be able to meet the students' various needs and to provide the students with learning disabilities a way to partake in the lesson and grasp the material. It also demonstrates the knowledge of the resources for the teacher. So the teacher used an online program to work with the students as a group. As I mentioned, it was fun, interactive, verbally and visually went over each question, provided a number line. So plus they also used the math sheet, which provided the ones and the tens boxes. Just to save time, it was what I had mentioned before. I have a picture of it below. For my questions, so what kind of instructional and behavioral strategies did the presenter use? The teacher used a lot of positive reinforcement and assistance to the students. Positive reinforcement is necessary since it boosts students' confidence and makes them feel good about their work. As stated in the IRIS, its positive reinforcement is a means by which teachers can increase the probability that a behavior will occur in the future. A teacher uses positive reinforcement when he or she provides something that's pleasant. It's often thought of as an award, and then in addition to this, the teacher also worked in a lot of visual aids and verbal directions. The second question is, why did you find these strategies effective? The students loved the verbal and positive reinforcement, and it really boosted their confidence and kept them engaged in the activity, especially the focus learners. They need constant feedback to stay on track and remain inclined to do their work. The students also benefited from the verbal and visual aids, as this helped them to complete their task and get the extra help which they need. So this is an example of my regrouping. Well, not regrouping, it's the two-digit subtraction without regrouping. So as you can see, for instance, I would read this off. If you have 65 grapes and ate 13 of them, how many grapes are left? So highlight 65 so the students know, okay, that's the bigger number in one color. Highlight 13 in another color to show this is the lower number. And then R left so the students know, okay, we are solving for this number from these two. Same went for with regrouping. We also did the highlights. So the activity board, Zeit board, is this. So if we have 77 minus 28, just upload, get Zeit board there. 77 minus 28. And then obviously we'd have the students solve. So this would be a regrouping exercise. So we show the students in the tens, we cross out 7, make it a 6, cross out 17, bring the tens over, make it 17, and then go on to solve it. So this just acts as a visual aid and a way for the teacher to, since we're not in person and we can't be present with the students there in the classroom, it's a way to be as present as we can and show the students a step-by-step. We can also use counters here. Don't want to go over time, so I'm just going to explain it. Like, you can just make tallies, you can do circles, you can make smiley faces, whatever it is that grasps the student's attention, use that as well, implement it there on Zeit board. We also have this interactive game for the students. It's called Secret Agent Addition and Subtraction. I'll do an example. 3. So it's supposed to say add 3. So you have 58 here. 1, 2, 3.
Mission accomplished. You shrunk the evil cat and saved the city. Cool.
So that's just an example of the interactive game, positive feedback, visuals, both audio and the number line. Number line really helps, gives the students a way to sit there and actually count the numbers as opposed to just be told, all right, add 3 to 5. They actually see the numbers, they have the number line, they can count, they can interact with it, so it provided that for them. And then this is the last worksheet the students have. As you can see, we would bring up Ziteboard again in case students have any questions. We would model 1 with the students and show them, okay, they have the boxes here, so that they know, okay, this is the 10 spot, this is the 1 spot. As you can see, it shows 10s and 1s. It gives the tallies. It gives the numbers here, so that they can cross out, know, okay, we're taking a set of 10s here and bringing it over and creating a set of 1s, so that the 6 can turn into a 16 to properly take 8 out of it. And then they would continue on and be able to do this. It breaks up the numbers here. There's a line that goes down the center to show the students, although it's 56, we're looking at it as 2 separate numbers, so we can properly subtract and regroup these numbers and create our answer. So that is it. Unfortunately, I went over. I will try to explain more in the discussion board. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I will answer as best I can.